Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale. The life of a fallen Brahmin, Ajnani. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti. In the last meeting, we are discussing about the life of a fallen Brahmin, Ajnani. He was addicted to prostitute, therefore his high standard of life became degraded. This morning also we are reading in the Ishopanishad that God is apapa vidyam. O means not, and papa means sin. And vidham, infect. The God is never infected by sinful activities. Common sense, just like a king orders somebody to be killed. This man should be killed. This killing is sinful for the ordinary citizen. But killing by the order of the supreme executive head, the president or the king, that is not criminal. If you say that killing by me is criminal, why it is not criminal for you, the president or the king? I am giving a crude example. Similarly, if you go higher and higher, when you come to God, first of all, what is the conception of God? Conception of God is great. Nobody is greater than Him and nobody is equal to Him. That is God. Asama urdha. The exact Sanskrit word is asama urdha. Asama means not equal. Nobody can be equal to God. This is analyzed by great acharyas. They have analyzed the characteristics of God. They are characterized, the characteristics are 64. And out of that 64, we living entities, we have got 50 only. And that is also in very minute quantity. 50 qualities of God we have got, but that is very in minute quantity. Take for example, just like God has got also the tendency to love young girl. Take it for a crude example, just like God is dancing with young girl. But we have also the same tendency. We also want to be surrounded by young girls and dance, we enjoy. But the thing is that you can enjoy in the company of a few girls, that is minute quantity. But God can dance with an unlimited number of girls. That you cannot. These are crude examples. So, these 64 qualities, they have analyzed that we living entities, we have got in minute quantities. And amongst the living entities, the first perfection is to be seen in the life of Brahma, who is the chief living entity within this universe. So, similarly, Lord Shiva has got 55, Lord Narayan has got 60, but Krishna has got in full 64. 7%, 100%, all the qualities. Therefore, either Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or the living entities, nobody can be equal to him. This is the conception of God. Asama Urdha. And in the Bhagavad Gita, you have seen that Krishna says, Matta Paratara Nasti Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya, my dear Arjuna, there is nobody superior to me. So, just like some heating agent, we have got several heating agents. You have got heater in your apartment, oven in your apartment. There are so many different varieties of heater. But the heat of the sun cannot be compared with any other heat. You cannot say that because I have got little heat, I have become sun. And it is ludicrous. That is not possible. So those who are claiming that I am God, everyone is God, they are simply, what can I say, less intelligent person. They have no conception what is God. They do not know what is God. This claim that I am God, that means he has no idea what is God. Therefore he is falsely claiming. You may have minute quantity of God's quality, but that does not mean you are God. Just like the same example, you may have a minute quantity of the total heat of the sun, but that does not mean you are sun. So qualitatively, we are one. Everyone has got some temperature, 98 degrees. But not that a million degree. That is not possible. Why in million? If you rise your temperature to 107 degrees, then finish your life. These are practical. So, because Lord Krishna is all powerful. You cannot compare with Krishna. He is a Papavidham. No contamination can touch him. But for that reason you cannot imitate Krishna, and you cannot say that no contamination can touch me. No, that is not possible. Therefore the whole life, this human form of life, is a chance to purify so that we may approach. At least if we get that 50 degrees, 50 parts or 50 fractional portion of God's quality, even in minor quality, then we can approach God. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said that Pavitram Paramam. Pavitram means purity. So you are Krishna, you are the supreme pure. So because we are trying, by Krishna consciousness, we are trying to approach Krishna. Just like if you want to approach the sun, the same example can be given. Everything is there in the nature. If you study minutely, you become learned philosopher. That if we want to enter the sun planet, then you must equip yourself, just like you are trying to go to the moon planet by artificially dressing, but still you cannot stay there more than a few hours. If we suppose that somebody has gone there. So this is the position. If you want to enter into the sun planet also, that is also a planet. That is also possible. If it is possible to enter into the moon planet, then it is also possible to enter into the sun planet. Why not? And there are living entities. We get information from Vedic literature. But you have to raise your temperature so that you can exist. Similarly, God is supreme pure. If you want to go back home, back to Godhead, then you have to become pure without any contamination of this material. The contamination of material world is called sin. That is sin. Just like you infect some disease, germ, you become diseased. I've got some infection, so I am diseased. You may know it or not know it, that doesn't matter. If you infect knowingly or unknowingly, you will be diseased. So what is that infection? That infection that is stated in the Ishopanishad, we read in every morning, Ishavasamidam sarvam. This everything what we see, either in the sky or in the water or outside our vision, everything belongs to God. Ishavasamidam sarvam. So, everything God's property. You cannot, even you are son of God, you cannot take anything without God's permission. Just like even your father's property. You will inherit your father's property, that's a fact. But suppose your father has got on the table $1,000. If you take it without his permission, if you think that is my father's money, but by law you become a criminal. Your father can prosecute you criminally. That is the state law. Even it is your father's money, even your father is very kind, but if you take your father's money without his permission, then you are a criminal. And what to speak of others? Similarly, we are all sons of God. That's a fact. Krishna says, Sarvajonishu kaunteya sammavanti murtayaja tasana mahajjani brahma aham abhija pradapita. Aham, Krishna says, that all these living entities in 8,400,000 of species, it doesn't mean that only human beings, the animals, the birds, beasts, trees, everything, all living entities. They are all sons of God. He says, Aham bija pradapita. The material nature is the mother. Just like in ordinary way, the father and mother requires to give a birth to a child. Similarly, this material nature is the mother. We have got this body from the mother, material nature. Just like we get the body from the mother's womb. Father gives the seed and mother gives the body. In the combination, we get out. Similarly, Aham bija pradapita, Krishna impregnates this material nature with the living entities, and when there is creation, they come out. This is the process. So, we are fallen in this material condition of life, and because we have disobeyed without the permission of Father, we have misused our independence, therefore we are condemned within this material world. The Ishavasa, the Ishopanishad teaches us, therefore reminds us that, my dear human being, the Shastras, the scriptures, the Vedas, they are meant for human beings, not for the dogs, cats. Those who are not taking advantage of these scriptures or Vedic literatures, they are no more than animals. Because animals, they cannot take advantage of this knowledge. But human beings can take. Therefore it is said, indicated in the Shastras, that this body is very suitable boat for crossing over this ocean of nescience. We are in the ocean, this outer space, the big space within this universe. It is to be considered just like a big ocean. And all the planets, they are just like islands. Therefore, in the Vedic literature, sometimes these planets are called Dvipa. Dvipa means island. Seta Dvipa. This planet is called Jambu Dvipa. Just like in the ocean, there are many hundreds of small, big islands. Similarly, the ocean of air or outer space, there are so many planets. They are called Dvipas. So Ishavasa, so all these belongs to God. And we are, because we are His sons, we have got the right to use our father's property, but not illegally. What is allotted to us by our father, we can accept. That's it. One who leaves, that is stated in the Ishopanishad, that kurvaneva karmani jisi vises satang sama. If you accept this principle, then you can live for hundreds of years without any sin. Otherwise, you become complicated in the laws of material nature. And so long we are complicated, entangled by the laws of material nature, then we shall have to transmigrate from this one kind of body to another kind of body, and our material existence will be prolonged. So, here I shall try to explain the teachings of Rishabdev. He is teaching to his sons, my dear son, Nayang Deha Deho Bhajang Loki. My dear sons, this body, Niloke, he has particularly mentioned Niloke, this body in the human society. Ayang Deha, this body, Nayang Deha Deho Bhajang Loki. Deho Bhajang means anyone who is embodied. So, the cats, dogs, trees, birds, beasts, insects, reptiles, they have all body. But he is specifically mentioning Niloke, the body in the human society. Ayanga this body in the human society, Nayanga Deha, Deho Bhajanga Niloke, Kostan Kaman Arhatavir Ujangji. It is not meant for working very hard to satisfy the senses. Why you are working so hard? What is the principle? What is the aim? Everyone is working very hard. What is it? Sense gratification. So, Rishabdev says, simply for sense gratification, we should not work so hard. That is the verdict of Vedic literature. If you say that we have got senses, so in order to keep the body fit, we have to give something for the enjoyment of the senses. That is accepted, yes. But don't aggravate it. The Shastra says that do not increase artificially the demands of the senses. Then you will be in time. Just like eating. We have got tongue, we have got belly. We require to eat something for maintaining the body. That's right. He meant it. But do not try to satisfy the senses, tongue or belly or any other senses, unreasonable. Why? That's not unreasonable. What is that unreasonable? Tena taktena bhunjita. What is ordained to you, what is allotted to you, you eat. Just like for human being. Human being, Krishna or God has given so many nice things. God has given us grains, rice, pulses, vegetables and fruits, flowers, so many milk. Are they not sufficient for maintaining our body and soul together? Yes. Why not? Those who are vegetarians, strictly, take for example we, all the members in the temple, we live simply on these things, fruits, vegetables, grains, milk, that's all. So are we dying for want of food? Then why should we eat meat? What is the reason? Simply for satisfaction of the tongue? If I can live peacefully, otherwise, which is allotted to me by God, why shall I give trouble to another animal for satisfaction of my tongue? What is the reason? If you have no food, of course in the deserted country just like Arabia, simply desert, sand. So for them, they can kill some animal and eat, because they cannot die for want of food. But here in America, you have got sufficient food stuff. Why should you kill animals? You have got sufficient grain, sufficient food, sufficient milk, and is it very nice thing that you take milk from the cow, who is your mother, love and kill at the same time. Is that very good reason? Therefore, Rishabdev says that this human form of body is not meant for mismanaging the whole thing for the satisfaction of the senses. That is not meant for human being. Amaloke, niloke. The human society is speaking to the human society. We are speaking to the human society. We are not calling cats and dogs, come here, please hear Srimad Bhagavatam. That is not possible, they cannot. But we are inviting those who are enlightened human beings, please come, just try to understand what is this Krishna consciousness movement and be happy, that's all. We want to see every human being to be happy. That is our program. So, Rishabdev says, Kastan Kaman. That's right, we are not criticizing the modern method of living. Of course, automatically it becomes criticized. But we are speaking from the Shastras. He says, Rishabdev says, Kastan Kaman. For your sense gratification, do not arrange something very dangerous or very tiresome labors. Make your life simplified. That is allotted by Krishna. We have got in a place, New Vrindavan, in West Virginia. With little effort, they produce so much vegetables that they cannot eat, they cannot finish. They cannot finish. So, God has given us land, God has given us producing experience. So, wherever you live, it doesn't matter. If you have got a little plot of land and a cow, your whole economic question is solved. Why you should work so hard day and night? So we have created a civilization simply working hard day and night, and the purpose is sense gratification. That's all. That is prohibited. Make your life simplified. Save your time for Krishna consciousness. That is the program. Don't be implicated with sinful activities. Simple life, just like your father says, my dear boy, you take your food just in time and you do this work and I will be satisfied. If you do that, the father is satisfied. But if you take from the pocket of your father or from the cash box without his permission, then you are criminal. So, by God's arrangement, everything is there. Everything. Purnamidam. Purnamidam, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamuchyate. Everything is complete in this world. There is no scarcity. We have simply created scarcity by our mismanagement. But if we take up the laws as they are prescribed in the scriptures and live peacefully, there is no scarcity. My Guru Maharaj used to say that in this world there is no scarcity by the arrangement of God. But the only scarcity is this Krishna consciousness. People are not Krishna conscious. They are materially conscious. They are sensually conscious. That has to be changed. So Rishabdev says that to satisfy our senses, that is also available in the life of a hawk. Kastan kaman arhati jad birbhujam. Birbhujam, an animal who eats stool, birbhujam. That means the hawk. The hog is also an animal, a living entity, and you will find that it is working whole day. Wherever there is tool, simply searching up. Research work, where there is tool. Because he has been made into that abominable condition of life that he is eating stool, still he has to find out where is stool, where is stool. You see? So there are different grades of life. So does it mean that we shall live a life like a hog while we have got this human form of body? Just try to understand. The hog is eating stool, which is rejected by everyone, and still he is searching that out. Where is that stool? And it is called research work. So, we should not make our life complicated like the hog. And what is the aim of his life? The hog. The aim of his life is sex. The hogs and especially hogs and goats, they are very sexually influenced. The hog does not discriminate. The monkeys, they do not discriminate mother, sister or anyone. They must have sex. So it's specially mentioned here, not like hog. Don't live like hog. This is the instruction of the subject. This human form of life is not meant for living like a hog. Then, but it is for, that is stated in the next line, Tapo. My dear boys, this life is meant for tapasya. Tapasya means restraining your senses. That is human. That is human civilization. The more you restrain your senses from its activities, the more you are advanced, civilized, advanced human being. Tapasya. Tapasya means tapa. Tapa, from tapa, tapa comes. Tapa means temperature. So, if I restrain my senses, because we are from time immemorial, we have been practiced to indulge our senses for gratification. And in the human form of life, because we have to control the senses, it sometimes gives us some pains. I am accustomed to do something, but my spiritual master says, just like in this country, I say that you cannot take meat, you cannot smoke. So all my students, they were accustomed to this habit. But by my order, they have restrained. In the beginning, there is some pain. So that pain is called tapasya. Voluntarily accepting little pain. Tabodhika. And what for that painstaking? Divyam. For realizing the absolute truth. Not for that just like a student is working very hard to find out the possibilities of nuclear weapon. That is also tapasya. But what is that? They are for finding out some means to kill the human society. That sort of tapasya is not required. Like Ravan's tapasya or Hiranyakashipu's tapasya. Tapasya, here it is especially mentioned that you voluntarily accept some pain for realizing the absolute. Tapodikdam. Then you may answer that why shall I take so much pains for realizing the absolute. I can take some pen here for material acquisition, I shall be happy here. I do not. That answer is also given. Tapodivyam putraka jena sattang suddhe. My dear boys, you just take to this austerity, life of austerity, for realizing the absolute, by which your existence will be purified. We began because we require this human form of life is meant for being purified. So, just take a diabetic patient is advised by the physician not to take so many foods, not to take sugar, not to take this, not to take this. That prohibition is meant for his curing. Similarly, here also, if we accept some voluntary pains in giving up our sense gratificatory process, then our existence will be purified. Tapodivyam putraka jena sattang. Sattang means your existence. Jena sattang suddhet. Suddhet means becomes purified. Then you may ask, what is the result? Suppose if I purify by your prescription. Suddhet jasmad brahma sokham anantam. Because if you purify your existence, then you get unlimited pleasure. Your life is, you are finding out where is pleasure. That is anandamaya abhyasa. Every living entity is fit for enjoyment because he is part and parcel of God. Because he is part and parcel, he is also enjoyer, although in the minute quantity. But he can enjoy in association with God. So in order to enter into the association of God, he has to purify himself. Jasmat Brahma Sukha. Brahma means the unlimited or spiritual. Spiritual means unlimited, unending, eternal. The greatest. These are some of the meanings of Brahma. So you are searching after pleasure. That is your prerogative, that is your right. You must be. But you are searching in this sense gratificatory platform, you will never get it. If you purify your this existence, then you get unlimited pleasure in your spiritual existence. Unlimited pleasure. Brahma Sokham Anantam. Anantam means unlimited. So, this life we should utilize for purifying, not for extravagancy in sense gratification, and you will not suffer. This is Maya. Actually, just like a child, a boy wants to play, and the father prescribes him, my dear boy, do not play so long, please read. So he is thinking that my father is prescribing something which is very troublesome. But actually this tapasya, this Krishna consciousness regulated life is not for trouble. It is for your progress of life to the spiritual understanding wherein you get unlimited eternal life, Satchidananda Vigraha. God is Satchidananda Vigraha. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda, full of pleasure. So as soon as you become purified from this material existence, then you enter into the spiritual kingdom and you get your body, Satchidananda Vigraha, and live there eternally in full knowledge and full bliss. Thank you.